Hello and welcome to the Bucket List Gamers and Merry Christmas. I am Jay and I am joined as always by Eddie.
Hello.
And this is quite obviously, now I've said that, our Christmas special. So we're not looking at a game on the list because there's nothing Christmassy in there. There's nothing that even particularly fills me with joy left in the list. And we wanted to keep this one relatively upbeat. So we got our little thinking caps on. We thought, what can we do for Christmas? And there's two things we're going to do. Later in the episode, we're going to discuss the Video Game Awards, which the nominees got announced very recently, didn't they? And we are going to put this out just after the winners get announced. So we will add a bit on the end where we discuss the winners. But for now, we're just going to discuss the nominees. And the other thing we were thinking is when this comes out, probably, I don't know, relatively close to Christmas now, you might only have a few days left to prepare. You might be struggling to find a present for that gamer in your life and you want to know what to get them. So we thought we'd do a little gamer gift guide to help you out because there's so much shit out there that people try and flog as perfect gifts for gamers, and a lot of it is just capitalizing on people that don't know any better, isn't it?
Yeah.
And most of the, I think all the stuff we've picked to identify in this episode doesn't fall into that category. There are a couple of things on here that are a little bit expensive, but we will come to them. We'll explain why we think they're a great thing to have. And we'll go from there. Who would like to kick off? Eddie, do you want to go with something to lead us in?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first one, to be fair, is based after our namesake. So it's very, very apt, really. You can get a 100 games bucket list scratch off poster.
I've seen these.
Not sponsored. Neither we sponsoring them or them sponsoring us. They're available on Amazon. They're about 25 quid. So they're a bit like a scratch card, but so there's like 100 games of the like bucket list games that you need to play before you die, and you can basically scratch off the little foil over the top, and once you've played them you scratch it off. That's your checklist done for that one. You move on to the next one. You complete that game or play it as much as you can bear with some of them, I can only imagine, and scratch it off when you're happy with that. And again, it's just something that's not normal, which is usually peripherals or energy drinks are usually the default things, or eye drops, usually because your eyes are permanently glued open. So yeah, it's just something a little bit different.
Funny you should mention that. It is something about 2-3 months ago I looked into whether we could have one made to potentially sell with our 100 games that we've talked about over the course of the podcast. And it is prohibitively expensive to create something like that. So we won't be doing our own unless somebody funds it or we get incredibly big. But this is the next best thing. I have seen these. I think I saw them on Zavi, but as you say, they're on Amazon as well. Mankind, all the places like that where you get these gifts from tend to carry things like this. Have a look through. I mean, I can guarantee you not all 100 are going to be worth playing based on the lists that we've looked at. But it is a nice thing to have, and they can, especially for younger players that maybe want to experience a bit of history as well as the modern games, they can hang it on the wall. They can potentially pick one to look at, play it, scratch it off. It's a really nice thing. I've seen people do it with maps when, like, countries they visited, but that's obviously far more expensive to do than this. So this is a nice good little stocking filler. Like you say, I think 20-25 quid. They're not expensive. They look good on the wall as well. They're designed nicely. They're like, from what I recall, they're like little scrolls, aren't they, with the weighted wood on the bottom and the top. So they do look nice. They're not just a bland bit of poster that you're scratching them off as well. Really good opening gambit there. My opening gambit is the opposite end of the scale in terms of price, I would say. And I'm going to mention something we've talked about previously, which is the couch console, which, to be fair, they look like they've come down a bit since we last talked about them. I'm not sure. They're currently 54 quid. Or if you buy two, 46. So that's 46 each, obviously. Or if you buy three, 42 each. But that's going a bit far. I don't think you need three of them unless you've got potentially 3 kids. When we got sent one of these to review, we didn't pay for them. We got sent one. And I honestly thought when we got sent it, I'm not going to use this. We're going to use it the one time you came round to try it out. We're going to talk about it. It's going to go in a cupboard. It's never going to see the light of day. We are, about a year and a half later? It is still in the middle of my sofa next to me here with a can of pop in it, my remote's in it, some cables stored away underneath. It's so useful because you can put all the stuff in it, and if you don't want it on the sofa because you've got people coming around, it moves. Everything just moves in one go. You don't have to gather things up or move them onto desks or anything like that. I use it all the time. I genuinely, if I'm in my office on the sofa, that is next to me with a drink in it, with a charging wire in it, with some glasses wipes in it, with my glasses on it when I'm not using them. So useful. And for the price, it is expensive, but it is quality as well. The build of it is so well made. The materials, as I say, a year and a half it's been sat there with my pad thrashing down on it and stuff, and cans going in and out of the gyroscopic can holder thing. Still looks immaculate. They do it in all different colours. There's all black, there's black and orange, which is the one I've got. There's white with a black top. There's a grey, there's a black and green. And the other thing I think we mentioned at the time was it's all modular as well. So if you did have three of these, or two of these, or whatever, and you wanted two drinks holders in one and no drinks holder in another, you can just mix and match them. And what you can do is you can sort of have one maybe between you and your significant other with two can holders in it and two little pots for sweets or popcorn for cinema nights, and then you can have the other one in your games room with the two sort of wrist rest pads and the charging wires and all that stuff in it. So you can completely mix and match them and swap them around. I don't know if you can actually buy the little bits to go in it. I don't think you can. I think you can only get the full unit and then mix and match them, which is a bit, they've missed a trick a bit there. They could sell the modular units separately. I love it, honestly. I'm not just saying that because they gave us one, because they've not given us another one since. So it's not like they're playing us with these things to keep saying good things about it. I genuinely love it. And if you're looking for something a bit more high end, maybe for an older gamer that would appreciate having somewhere to put their drink, but even for the younger ones, that gyroscope to hold the can in place.
Yep.
The amount of times I've not spilt something because that is just so good. And like I say, you can pop it out and put it on your desk if you want. It doesn't have to live in there. It's just a square shaped thing. It comes with a little box that you can stand it in so that it still works outside of the couch console. It's just such a nice thing. And the fact that you can plug a wire into it and use it to charge things up inside it as well is just a great bonus as well. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of them. I know they are on the expensive side, but for me, I've had my 54 quid's worth out of it and then some. So that is my first suggestion.
Okay. In that case, I will reverse back to the other end of the spectrum. Mine are slightly cheaper. They're lower end. I don't want to say that they are cheap, because they're still over £10. So depending on your budget. But these are, I think they're 13 quid each, and they are called Figgies. So Figgyz. They are made by a company called First for Figures. A lot of gamers will know First for Figures by reputation alone. They do a lot of really high quality resin models, usually game related, but they can also be quite sort of pop culture-y, so that you get like Count Duckula ones and Danger Mouse ones and things like that. But they are really well known for Zelda ones, Metroid ones, Yu-Gi-Oh ones in particular. They are quite top end and very expensive, in like £600-700 range. And I think they've realized that they are rapidly pricing themselves out of a certain market. So a lot of people that really, really like gaming also like a lot of figures, figurines, statues, those sorts of things. And a lot of people can't afford to just drop 400 quid, essentially a mortgage payment, on a piece of plastic or piece of resin that will either not leave the box, because we're all collectors and we don't like to put stuff on display if it needs to stay in the box to retain its value. So these are essentially pop magnets. They're a little bit like pop vinyls, but they are 2D. They're usually done in a sort of 32-bit block art style. So they've got magnets on the back, so you can magnetize them to your fridge if you want to. They each come with like a reversible backing, that you can mount them to. One is usually black with the game or the IP's logo on it, and then the reverse of it is usually like a little scene that is related to that character. So it's usually like a backdrop from a specific game sort of thing. And each one comes with a little mini stand that you can put the background onto and then magnetize your figure onto it. The $12.99, which by and large isn't particularly horrific. They look like quality products. They come in waves basically, so they release a wave that is related to a specific game. So there's a wave for Sonic, there's a wave for Metal Gear Solid, Yu-Gi-Oh. They haven't got Pokemon licensing yet, but I know what Pokemon are like, and if they smell a buck or two, they'll probably let them have the licensing for it. You've also got things like Skies of Arcadia, Silent Hill, Streets of Rage, Street Fighter, Golden Axe. There's loads on there. And the wave is normally 4 characters. So there's 4 that you can collect. Each one's $12.99. You can buy all 4 for £46 if you get them as a bundle, which is relatively reasonable. So you are saving yourself a little bit of money there. And if a line is particularly popular, I think Sonic is onto its like 5th wave now or something like that because of the variants that they keep doing. Each one has each individual figgy has a chase variant, but they do them for limited runs. So if you are one of the first to adopt a wave, for example, so if you're one of the first ones to get wave 4 of Sonic, one of those has a chance of being a chase variant, and whether that is a gold version of that character or it's just a slightly different pose or a slightly different background. So there is a collectability element to them. I think it's like a really good thing that they've done because they're obviously still making money off it, but it's at the cheaper end and they're not pricing people out of owning like a quality piece of memorabilia. I think on there at the minute you've got Banjo-Kazooie Wave 2, Persona 3 Reload, Street Fighter 2, Catherine, and Sonic the Hedgehog Wave 3 that have all got 21 days left until they're released, so you can be an early adopter if you want to, or you can just notify yourself when these get released. But they're all sort of got a little countdown on there. And like I say, I just think it's a nice thing to have, really.
Yeah, I've just been looking. I wasn't aware of these, and I can tell you for a fact now that next time my other half sees you, she's going to batter you because I am clearly going to end up buying loads of these and not have any room for any of them or any money. It's the Sonic ones. I've just looked at the Sonic because there's Sonic Classic and there's Sonic Modern.
Yep.
And all of the Sonic Classic ones I want, and they're £50 a set, aren't they?
Yes.
There or thereabouts, £46.99 a set. And they've all, annoyingly, all 3 sets have got something in them that I want, like rather than it just being like, oh, I'm not that bothered about that one. Supersonic's in one set with Eggman.
You can buy singles, so
yeah,
you don't need to buy the full wave. So
$14.99, aren't they, for the singles? So,
yes. Oh, is it 14? I thought it was 12.
Yeah.
Sorry.
$14.99 for a single. But then I don't know. I think there's enough in the others to keep me interested in wanting all of them.
Oh no, Wave 1, $12.99.
Are they?
So the Wave 1 of Sonic is $12.99. So we're good. I wasn't deliberately misleading.
Is this on their website?
Yeah.
Oh, showing us they're ripping me off. It's showing us $14.99 for all of them for me. Yeah, it definitely is. So yeah, I'm getting conned compared to you by the look of it. But yeah, there's bargains to be had. There is mine's showing in dollars as well now.
Oh.
That could account for it. But yeah, definitely one to look into. I mean, Eddie, if you're looking at a Christmas present for me, I wouldn't say no to a Sonic Wave there. Although 46 quid is pushing the boundaries of our budgets. But yeah, they're really nice. And they don't take up as much space as a Funko, which is something that at least my other half will thank you for. And it says, I've noticed as well, that you can wall mount them without nails and stuff.
Yep.
There must be a way to... I'm assuming they're similar to like disc plates where you can stick a magnet on the wall and then stick it to the magnet or a command strip or something like that. So yeah, really good choice there, and really affordable as well, I think, for presents for Christmas. As you say, $12.99 for the individual ones. If you know that a gamer is a fan of a franchise, you happen to know what their favourite character is, get them started with one, it could be the start of an addiction stroke collection.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're 4.3 inches in height. So they're about the size of a standard touchscreen phone, really. They're
Yeah.
not massive. And I'm assuming that's the backing that's
Yeah.
4.3 inches. So the figures will be a tad smaller, but again, they look good.
You can display them without the backing. I mean, is the backing metal or is it card?
I think the backing's metal because they've got two sort
They
of round
magnetize, don't
magnets
they? Yeah.
stuck to the back of them. So I think it's metal. I think the figure itself is PVC,
Hmm.
so the actual figure, and then they've got two magnets glued to the back that then mounts to the display card. Or you could stick them on the fridge if
Yeah.
you've got like side of a PC or whatever.
Yeah. If you want to come up with your own little and like mashups, you can stick different ones to do. You could have a Sonic in Banjo Kazooie on Metal Gear, and stuff like that with the different backgrounds. You can mix and match them, can't you? I mean, I'm just looking. They are on Amazon, but I wouldn't advise buying them on there because they're about 30 quid each on there at the minute for some reason. And there is also one from Cowboy Bebop that looks very similar to the main antagonist in Lustful Victor that we played a while back. I mean, he's not revealing quite as much as the chap in Lustful Victor was, but he does look very similar to him. So yeah, that's a great shout. My next choice is also on the cheaper end, not stupidly cheap, but it is cheaper. It's very retro. It is very throwback. You will need a very specific type of gamer to enjoy one of these, I think, but I think a lot of us would, and that is a Tamagotchi. So we've been sent a Tamagotchi to review very kindly by Bandai, and it's took me back. It's took me straight back to being a kid. I mean, they got banned from our school, so my parents looked after my Tamagotchi more than I did because during the day they had to feed it and clean it and God knows what else. But yeah, they've not changed an awful lot. The version that I've got, at least anyway, hasn't changed an awful lot. But they're still, I don't know, there's something about them for me, seeing what they evolve into depending on what I do with them. And yes, they're a bit annoying. They sit there bleeping a lot, but there's such a nostalgia hit from them. And I think the basic ones are like 10, 15 quid. They're not expensive. You can get them on Amazon. But they have also released, and we didn't get sent this one because it is absolutely brand new. They've just released one called Tamagotchi Paradise, which has like a scroll wheel on the side. It, like on a digital watch, the little wheel, an analog watch. Sorry, you can turn the wheel, or on an Apple Watch or something. It's got one of those built onto the top of
Ah.
it, and I don't know what it does, but it's like a full color screen as well, so it's not just your black and white blobs. And they're 40 or 31 depending on the color, so they're not as cheap, but they do loads more by the look of it. You can send them to different planets and all sorts on those. And yeah, I just think they're such a nice little throwback, but then also there is these ones with the modern twist, and the newer ones can clip together as well, so you can interact with your friends ones. So if you've got younger gamers that want a bit of interaction with friends as well, or siblings, you can get them one each of those. They can clip them together and interact and all that kind of thing. I just think it's a great. I just love the fact that they're still going, because they were like mid 90s hype, and you can still buy a Tamagotchi now. It is amazing. And yeah, as I say, we've been sent one. Me and Aaron have opened it on a video, which will be going on YouTube at some point. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We did get sent a few other things as well, a few toys and that kind of thing. It may already be on YouTube by now, actually. I expect it will be, because we wanted to put that out as well for people's ideas for Christmas. So we got sent all sorts of weird and wonderful toys, which we've talked about on there, and a Tamagotchi was one of them. And I just had so much fun with it, and it was such a nostalgia hit that I just thought I had to mention it on here. So sort of gamer adjacent, but I feel like a lot of gamers will appreciate a Tamagotchi, especially the new one, because I can see Eddie's having a quick look at it. I can see it reflecting in his glasses. And it's just, it's huge as well, isn't it? The new one. I don't know if you've seen one with a picture of it in someone's hand, but it is absolutely massive compared to a classic one. But yeah, they're that little bit of nostalgia. It's probably something that if you got it for a kid, they'd play with it for a couple of weeks. It'd go in a drawer, bleeping away to itself, and then maybe in a year's time they'll get it back out and play with it again, and the cycle continues. It's a little bit of fun, I think, isn't it? A nice little stocking filler. If you want to hear something bleeping its little head off during Christmas Day, during the Queen's speech, what a perfect gift to get a kid for Christmas.
And they do themed ones now as well, don't they? So you can literally
There's
get.
a Jurassic Park one, yeah.
I got my other half a Harry Potter one, so she
Ah,
can hatch eggs and she gets like little nifflers,
hmm,
and then you can like swap them out or free them, and then you get the next best one, and then you can get like dragons and kelpies and things like that. So yeah, there's loads of themed ones out there.
and then there's, yeah, as you say, there's theme, there's the classic. I've just seen the Harry Potter one, yeah, with the little niffler on it. There's a Jurassic World one. I think that was probably one of the more recent tie-ins they've done. There's a Star Wars R2D2 one, but I can't imagine that one's that much fun because he doesn't evolve or anything, and that's a big
No,
part of the fun of it. I mean, at least with the Harry Potter one, you get in a different animal and you're changing things
yeah.
up. With R2D2, it's just him beeping at you and and wanting some maintenance every so often.
I'm surprised Pokemon haven't cashed in on it. Like,
Yeah.
you just get an
Oh
egg
yeah.
and you hatch and you get a random Pokemon that can evolve. Obviously, you'd need like a 3-stage
Hmm.
evolution, but there's quite a few of them that you could quite easily just have. You get a little
Yeah.
Pichu, then evolve it into a Pikachu. You can get it to do like thunder or something like that on the screen by feeding it berries, and
Yeah.
they've got their own
Yeah.
food.
It ties in, doesn't it? I'm amazed actually. Obviously, Bandai and Nintendo don't want to do business together.
Yeah,
Is
true.
the only thing that I can think of. But yeah, that was one that just stood out to me when we got sent those. I was like, I need to mention this on the podcast because it's such a throwback.
Yeah.
I remember a little tangent. I got mine, and I didn't get an official Tamagotchi when I first got them because they were sold out everywhere. It was, you don't realize, people look at Pokemon now and go, I can't believe a product's sold out everywhere, but this happened all the time in the 90s. Furbies, you couldn't get a Furby for love nor money. Tamagotchis were the same. When they first came out and everyone jumped on it, I couldn't get a real Tamagotchi. My mum used to do like a catalogue thing, where you get sent, like, you can order it through a catalogue, and they had one in there that was a turtle. And it looked exactly like a Tamagotchi, but it was, you looked after this turtle, and I was like, yeah, get me that, please. And the days between ordering it and it coming were excruciating. And it arrived, and I loved it. And I didn't realize that it was pre-programmed to just die after 30 days, no matter what you did. So every 30 days, it just died, and I was like, "What did I do wrong? I need to start again." And then 30 days later, it would just die again. And I think after about 2 months, my mum and dad managed to find an actual real Tamagotchi, and then I got the full experience. And yeah, it is a little bit heart wrenching when you lose one, but there is a lot of fun in there to be had beforehand. I can see you've got a horrified look on your face.
Yeah.
Do I
I
want to know why?
we've done our usual thing of, do you know, I'm surprised that they've not done this, and then a quick Google reveals that they have indeed done this.
Oh, what? There's a
So
Pokemon Tamagotchi.
Takara Tomy are releasing a Pokemon. It's in the shape of a Pokeball, and it's
Oh,
got
I've
a
seen
really
this.
full, like
Yeah,
really really
yeah,
nice LCD screen, like full color, and there are 150 Pokemon on it. They are in the pricier range, really, because the ones I'm
yeah,
looking at are like 80 quid. But yeah, they
yeah.
do them.
I did see this the other day actually, and I didn't realize it was a full on Tamagotchi style thing. I thought it was more of a like an accessory to go with Pokemon Go or something like that. But no, it
Ah,
is like the screen folds up inside of it, doesn't it? And it looks like a Pokeball.
and you can pet the ball, so it's got sensors on
Yeah.
it, and you pet the ball, and the a little hand animation appears on the Pokemon in the LCD screen, and you pet your Pokemon.
I wonder if there's two different ones because the one I'm seeing it's like inside the ball, whereas then there's another one where it's on the front where the button of the
Yeah.
ball would be. I'm wondering if the one where it's inside is a potential knockoff because it is on AliExpress.
Ah,
So I'm wondering if somebody's already made like a dodgy knockoff version of it where it lives
yeah.
inside the ball. Although it's still 80 quid. So they've knocked it off and then charged you what it would cost for the regular
Ah.
one anyway. But
Oh
yeah,
dear.
that does look cool. I mean, is it Pokenade have made it? Or is that the name of it? It's all in Japanese, the thing I'm looking at. Yeah, it is a Tomy one, isn't it? It's Tomy made. If they want to send us one of these things, we more than happily look at it, although it's 100 quid, so I can't imagine they're going to do. But yeah, it's one of those things that's where it's advanced to, isn't it? And it makes sense. That is, I cannot believe it's taken them till 2025 to do that when they were popular in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
But moving on, have you got any other Christmas present suggestions before we get onto the awards?
Yeah, this one's probably a little bit more left of field than the ones that we've been talking about, because the ones we've been talking about are quite easily, someone is going to like them. And mine is gaming themed candles. So a lot of
Okay.
people have taken to making their own candles now, whether that's on Etsy, whether it's via Amazon, whether it's via eBay. They set up their own little candle business, and they are doing themed scents for candles. Like, you can get a portal one that smells like birthday cake because the cake is a lie. And they're usually quite well designed, the outside of them. They're normally they've either got a nice label on them that's themed around the thing that you're looking at, and the fragrances are sort of like, you can get like Lake Hylia, for example, so it will smell of like fresh cut grass and water and those sorts of things. And they do loads of them. There's literally hundreds of sellers on Etsy, and the ones that I've had, so going to like gaming conventions or comic cons and things like that, you get really really good ones. There's also things like wax melts. Some of the ones I've had were based around Baldur's Gate, and they are based on what they think a particular character should smell like. There have been ones based on The Witcher, so Yennefer, the witch from The Witcher, smell is in the books is said to smell of lilac and elderberries, and they've made a candle that specifically evokes that smell. So if you've got a gamer, particularly if they're teenagers and the bedroom stinks, buy them a nice candle. Get them a candle, set that off. They can enjoy playing their favorite video game with their favorite video game smell on in the background, and just adds to that level of immersion, because you can get things like Zelda, you can get Elden Ring ones, you can get Elder Scrolls ones. So if they want to imagine what it's like walking through Cyrodiil or Skyrim, and they have a candle burning on, providing that additional scent while they're playing a game, and as a parent helps you out because the room doesn't stink because they're a grotty little teenager.
I was going to say, I will say, if you've got a younger gamer, you may be better getting the wax melts and like a Sensi burner,
Yeah.
a Sensi melter where you don't have an open flame. But if they are old enough to deal with an open flame, that is a great shout. I've got two experiences with fragranced themed candles. One is a Sonic one I got, which was an officially licensed, the boxes that he jumps on to get the power
Oh
up.
yeah.
It's one of those with a candle in it, and each side of the candle has a different power up. So one's got a Sonic head, one's got a ring, and you can rotate it round to show whatever you want to be at the front. Absolutely stink. I mean, it smells lovely. It's watermelon, but the strength of the smell on that candle, without even lighting it, was enough to give you a headache. And it's 3 years old, and it still smells as strong now as when I got it. I've never lit it because I daren't, because I don't know what it's going to do. I mean, the half life of lighting it must be about 10 years. The house will stink of watermelon. The other one, not quite as positive as an experience. Star Wars did a range of scented candles.
They
I don't know if
did.
you've ever seen
Yeah.
these. So they did 3 sets, and Zavi was selling them off for about a tenner a set. And they were about 100 quid when they first came out. They were really premium products. And I bought loads of them because they were a tenner a set. And I thought, these will do well for presents or to sell or whatever. Set 2 and set 3 were all lovely smells. Various Star Wars places, middle of a forest, whatever. Lovely smells. Set 1 was 3 lovely smells and the garbage compactor.
Oh no.
And the smell of the garbage compactor not only tainted the other 3 candles in its box, but every candle in the delivery. And I bought I'm not even lying, I bought about 40 sets of these. And those garbage compactor ones tainted everything. They've been in the garage for 2 years, open, and they all still smell like garbage compactor, so I can't do anything with them. I've just got a stack of candles that absolutely stink. I've tried giving them away. People give them back because they don't want them in their homes. So I've sort of had my fingers burnt on the candle front. So just make sure you go and smell them. Don't buy them online would be my recommendation, because you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, why anyone thought that was a good idea in the first place, doing one that smells like garbage. But then to put it in an open container with other candles which will absorb smells stronger than they are was just, and they look gorgeous because they're on a little, like a wooden plinth, and they slot into them. They look amazing with a little plaque on the front. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near them. They smell horrific because of that one candle. I mean, I've even removed that one candle from some of the boxes. 2 years later, the whole box still stinks of it. It's a horrible, rotten smell that permeates anything it gets close to. And I'm down like a couple of £100 because of this. Yeah, caveat on the candle front,
dear.
but as long as it's a nice smelling one. I've got one in front of me, in fact, that not video game related exactly, but I got it out of a mystery box. It's a Rick and Morty Plumbus one.
All right.
And this, it smells lovely, but again, the strongest thing you've ever smelled, and when you light it, it's even worse. I mean, people at home can't see. That's how much I've burnt of it in 2 years, because I can't physically stand it being in the same room when it's lit. But it is a nice smell at least. So I do occasionally take the lid off, give it a little sniff, and then put it back on the window ledge for later. But no, candles are a great shout, as long as you've got somebody responsible to burn it, I would say.
As long as it doesn't smell like shit.
Yeah, avoid the trash compactor candle if you can. And they're a real thing as well. Google it if you don't believe me.
I believe you.
Loads of people. There'll be loads of people out there complaining about that, I can tell you, because it was horrendous. And that was unlit. So I can only imagine what it smelled like, what fresh hell you unleashed when you sparked that candle up. In fact, next time you come round, if I can locate the box full of them, I'm going to let you have a sniff of one of them.
Oh, thanks.
Because I can guarantee you they're sealed up in a plastic tub at the minute, and they'll still have that smell.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, the only other one I was going to quickly mention before we move on to the awards was a no specific product. A good quality pair of headphones, I think, is a really good gift for a gamer, especially if you want to spend a little bit more than normal. Get a good pair of, I don't know, Turtle Beach or something. I mean, I suppose they're the low end of good now, aren't they? When you look at the advances there's been. One brand I wouldn't recommend is Sennheiser, although they tend not to make gaming headphones. They make podcasting headphones that break less than a year after you've bought them. But enough about my personal experiences. A good pair of headphones, I think, is a solid investment, because I've had shit headphones and they look nice, but the sound quality through them is awful. And you get a bad pair of headphones, you can damage your ears with them very easily, with it being too tinny, or the levels aren't quite right, or they're just, and you don't realize it. That's the thing, you don't realize the damage you're potentially doing to your ears by having potentially high frequency noises being blasted into them at close range that you don't even hear. I've had ones where they have like electrical interference, because they're the ones that light up where you plug a USB into them. And if you really, really concentrate, you can hear this like high-pitched whine even when they're not on. And just the damage that would be doing to potentially your hearing. So getting a good quality pair of headphones, for me, is a must if you've got somebody who's a big gamer. And likewise, a good quality chair.
Yeah.
Again, you're really talking high-end now. This would have to be, I presume, your children or your other half before you get into this level of spend. But a good quality Secret Labs chair, something like that. I mean, I know there's far better now, but you're looking at £2-3 for those ones. But for the sort of £400-500 range, I think a Secret Labs chair is a good start. I got an Underseat one, which you can see I'm sat on currently as we're recording. Not a company I'd heard of, but I saw that they were selling one of their chairs off. I think I paid £120 for it, and normally they're about £400-500. It is the best chair I've ever had. It's not flashy. It's not one of the stylish ones. Like, I've got a Fallout one. It looks amazing. It's nowhere near as comfortable as this one, and it was twice the price. A good quality chair and a seat I would definitely recommend. You can't get them as cheap as I got this, because I looked to get another one the other day. But even at like £400, where these are usually priced, incredibly well made. A lot of it clips together with magnets. Like, I can take the cover of the arm off. It's all magnetic. They all clip together. You'll hear it clunk back in. Everything moves. The arms pivot, move in and out, up and down. They come with the headrest. You don't have to pay extra, which for the Fallout one, it was another £40 for the headrest, which wasn't even magnetic. This one's magnetic. So yeah, a good quality chair. I'd recommend Underseat. not sponsored by them or anything, but this is genuinely one of the most comfy, well-made seats I've ever had, and I can't recommend it enough. So yeah, something like that. As older men now, I think it's fair to say we will tell you you cannot put a price on good posture, because you will start suffering from it later in life if
Yeah.
you don't have a good chair. So I think if you've got kids that are going to be spending a lot of time sat in one of these chairs gaming, making sure it's not doing any damage to their spine is probably a good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And to come back to the headphones, if your kids or your teenagers or whatever play online a lot, the noise that can come out of consoles with
Mm.
everyone in the voice chat all shouting over each other and stuff like that, having a decent pair of headphones, so that one that's not broadcasting across the house. So if you've got a
Yeah.
teenage child and you've got little kids as well, you don't necessarily need to hear some of the chat that goes on. So having that just pumping into their heads instead of the rest of you and having to suffer that is really good. And also ones that have adjustable volume as well
Yeah.
on the edge of the earpiece is also really good. So if it is particularly loud, they can dim it down. It adds to the atmosphere as well, so you're not necessarily just providing something that's functional or helps the rest of the house not have to listen to that goddamn game again. But for a player, it can just add tons to the immersion if you've got good quality surround sound headsets where
Yeah.
you can, if you're playing a horror game, you can hear sort of a tap dripping 3 rooms over playing Resident Evil 7, or you can hear floorboards creaking, just adding to that immersion. So I think any gamer, whether they are casual or whether they're quite hardcore, anyone will appreciate a really good quality. And it doesn't have to be wireless or Bluetooth, because that's when you start really pushing up the value. You can get
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
really good quality wired overhead headphones, even earbuds to an extent you can get that are
Yeah.
pretty reasonable and provide the same audio quality. But yeah, over the ear ones with potentially a microphone, wired, not wired, whatever.
I think what you've said there is really important to consider. You don't have to go for wireless all the time.
No.
You sort of, in this day and age, you go, oh, it's a standard, you need wireless stuff. But with headphones, not necessarily, because consoles, they plug into the pad. So you don't have to be tethered to the console. So as long as you're always within arm's reach of your pad,
Yeah.
so the wire only has to be as long as to go from your head to your wherever you're holding the controller. And then on a PC, I'd say 90% of people that play on a PC are close enough to their PC to have it wired in.
Yeah.
So if you're a parent or looking to buy something and you think, oh, I need to get my kids wireless Bluetooth because it's the thing to do, you probably don't. And even though they might open it and go, oh, you didn't get me wireless ones, you can probably get much higher quality with a wire than getting a lower quality one to be wireless that they don't need to be wireless.
And it will be cheaper 9 times out of 10 if it's wired, because of that
Mm,
connotation of, oh, it's not high tech. But then you're
yeah.
not having to recharge it constantly, because it will power as you, once you've plugged it in, the power just goes straight to the headphones. And usually the sound quality is better and it won't dip,
Yeah.
because if you get interference with the Bluetooth signal between your headset and whether it's the TV, the console, the pad, whatever, you can lose that connection, so it can disconnect randomly. I mean, we've had God knows how many examples on this channel where one
Oh,
of us
mine are
has been
probably going to do it
recording
soon. Yeah, mine
where we've
mine
just
turn off.
disconnected.
They just turn off periodically. These ones, because I'm not using my good ones anymore because they broke under less than a year. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I'm on my old headphones again, which are perfectly adequate. These would be fine for gaming, but they're not closed cups, so there's a lot of noise bleed. So again, like Eddie said, if you've got younger children around, teenage children, closed cups on the headphones are probably the better route because they keep a lot more of the noise in,
Yeah,
and you get less of the background noise as well for the immersion
yeah,
factor. These, I can hear everything. I can hear myself a lot more, which is very jarring because I've been using for the best part of a year ones where I can't hear anything apart from what's coming through the headphones. So yeah, definitely, like you say, wired, I would recommend, unless you've got a particularly fussy child who's going to absolutely boot off because you don't get them the latest technology. And to be fair, you can get ones that are both, can't you? You can get wired ones which will give you a better quality The construction of them probably won't be as high end as the ones that are purely wired, because you're not paying for the Bluetooth module or the wireless module or whatever that's in them. You're just paying more for the actual sound technology, which is why you get better quality. But yeah, you can get ones that are hybrid. I think these ones you can plug in by a wire if you really wanted to. So you've got options, but I think they sound, a chair and headphones sound like potentially boring presents compared to a new game or a fancy controller or better TV, etc. But actually, you're doing them a favor in the long run, because they're going to get a better experience out of the headphones. They're going to not have back trouble like we've got when they get to our age. So it's sort of a little bit of a present for them later in life as well, I would say, that they can look back on and go, oh yeah, I had a really good chair back then, and that's probably why I'm fine now. But there's your gift guide. That's the Bucket List Gamers gift guide. There's loads more stuff we could cover, but we want to have a quick look at the Game Awards before we end this part and then come back later to discuss the winners. So Eddie has the nominations up in front of him. We're not going to go through every category and every nominee. We're just going to look at the highlights, because there's loads, and some of them art direction and all that kind of thing. Meh, not bothered particularly about that one. If you're in that award category, I'm sure you're bothered about it, but for the casual gamer such as ourselves, not really that interested. So where are we starting, Eddie?
So we will start with. I will go to start with best score and music. Now, you will hear a lot of repetition through this. When they do the Game Awards, like the Oscars, you tend to find that the top 5 films are nominated for pretty much every category in one form or another. So in terms of best score and music, you have got Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, The Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song.
So I've played 2 of those games. Hades 2, the music didn't particularly grab me. It's all right. It's what it needs to be. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it's not what the game's built around. You don't get these rising crescendos of bits of emotion where you need the music to swell and pull you through it, or you get a little bit with the bosses. And I think the reason it's probably in there is one of the bosses are musicians. It's the sirens. So you fight against the 3 sirens, and they have like 3 different songs depending on what variant of boss you end up fighting. And they are really good and they're really catchy. So I have a feeling that's probably where the Hades 2 inclusion in this category comes from. I don't know about Death Stranding 2. I've not really looked into it. Is it still a sort of baby carrying simulator, or have they done something else with it?
Yeah, it's an actual baby now. So the baby at the end of the first one gets taken out of the little pod that he's in throughout the first game. I can't really remember anything of Death Stranding 1's soundtrack. It wasn't something that really gripped me. It was one of those games, because there were long walks between a lot of the points in the game, I just put a podcast on or something like that. So I obviously missed quite a lot of atmosphere building, but the game was enjoyable nonetheless. Clair Obscur is my game of the year anyway, and the soundtrack is as good as the game itself. It is a phenomenal piece of work. So I will be surprised if that doesn't win. Ghost of Yotei is another one that surprises me, because I don't remember much of Ghost of Tsushima music either, really.
So what are we on next?
So for the next one, we will go best multiplayer. So we have got Ark Raiders, which is a relatively recent release to be slapped on.
It's done well though, hasn't it? It's everywhere at the minute.
Yeah.
It is absolutely everywhere at the minute. It's not my cup of tea. I had a look at it. One on Game Pass, I think, which we talked about in the last episode. Is it on Game Pass? It might not be, actually. It came up on the front page of my Xbox, and I looked at what it was and I disregarded it. So maybe it's not on Game Pass. Maybe it was something I had to pay for. I can see why it's popular. If it wins, I think it will be recency bias rather than it potentially being the best one, which often happens with these awards, doesn't it? The things that get released closest to them tend to get remembered more fondly than the stuff that came out at the start of the year. What else is in there?
We've got Battlefield 6, which it was either going to be Battlefield 6 or Call of Duty.
Well, the new Call of Duty is getting absolutely hammered, isn't it? So I'm assuming that's why that's not in there.
Next one is Elden Ring Night Rain, which again doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Elden Ring, whatever the expansion last year, won a couple of awards as well, so that's not surprising in the slightest. Peak, which I have never heard of.
No, neither have I. Have a look.
And then the last one is Split Fiction, which I have heard of. It's by the people that made It Takes Two. It has had rave reviews, from what I understand. It is a good couch co-op multiplayer, which the world sorely lacks. So credit to them for actually sticking with what they're good at and not going with online co-op and stuff like that.
Oh, I have heard of Peak. I have. That is on
Is it the
Game Pass,
climbing
I'm
one?
pretty sure. Yeah, it's the climbing
Yeah,
one.
sorry, I had.
So that's the indie darling of this category, I suppose.
Yes.
Or the last two are potentially. Yeah, it's done really well, hasn't it? I think if this category had had a few more months, you would have seen a game in there called RV There Yet. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
The concept of it is you are a pair of people driving an RV through various different scenarios, but they're all crazy, like on moving bridges and like narrow little paths. And if it gets damaged, it blows up, and you have to get from point A to point B. It is very much a struggle kind of game, but there's so much more to it. You have to do the gears, like it's manual drive, so you have to do the gears on it. It's very sort of physics based. So if you're even slightly leaning one way, it will start tipping off the edge and all that.
Right.
One player guides and one player steers because you can't really see what you're doing when you're in the RV. So they have to tell you if you're on the platform and stuff. But then there's like environmental hazards everywhere. Like there's eagles that will attack you, there's snakes, alligators. There's so many things that can damage you, and you have to go and collect bits of like medicine and all that. You can light up a cigarette and throw it to like burn bits down to make it easier to move through, and like it's very physics based and it's very cartoony and it looks brilliant. And I've watched people play it for hours because it looks so much fun. And I feel like that would have been in this alongside Peak if it had come out a few months earlier. I think it's gonna get really big. It already is getting quite big, but I think it's going to be one of those Among Us and that kind of games that just
Right.
blows up and everyone's playing it for a short period of time.
Yeah, cool. I'll give that a look then.
So that's my recommendation for next. Although it'll be old news by the time we get to the next year's awards, won't it? That's the problem. In that category, I don't know what we're declaring as a winner there, potentially.
I think Arc Raiders will win out of recency bias, as you say. It's blinkered vision, and because it's the new hotness.
Battlefield is just there. It's a good
Yeah.
game. People enjoy it, but it's there. It's the sixth iteration. What new could they possibly have done in it that hasn't been done and just tweaked for this one? And I just think that'll play against it. And the other two, I mean, how often do indie games or the lower level games win it? Did Dave the Diver win? I think it did win some, didn't it?
Yeah. I think it got best indie game, to be fair, but there isn't that as a category this year.
So maybe, you never know, Peak might, because there's nothing else that really stands out in it. Maybe they'll throw it a bone and give it the win. But can't call that one. But I think you're right. I think the recency bias may play into it.
Yeah, absolutely. The penultimate category we're going to look at then is best performance. So best voice actor or actor in a particular game. There are 3 for Claire Obscure in this category. So there's Jennifer English, there's Ben Starr, and there's Charlie Cox, who I'd forgotten was in this game, and he plays Daredevil in the live-action MCU series and in Spider-Man Far From Home as well, because he appears in that. So there's those 3. There is the main character from Ghost of Yote, who is Erika Ishii, and I'm really sorry if I've just butchered your name there, Erika. From Silent Hill F, we've got Konatsu Kato, who again I think is the main character. And then last but not least, and this is my personal favourite,
I think I know what you're going to say.
Is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it's Troy Baker.
I was just going to say, if that isn't in there, then it's a travesty, because we talked about it at the time, I think. His impression of Harrison Ford is so close to Harrison Ford, I didn't even realise it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And yeah, if anyone else wins, as good as all the others are, and I'm sure they're amazing, if anyone else wins other than that, then it is a robbery, because he did such a good job. The voice is there, the inflections are there, the delivery is there. It is just, if you wanted to make it, I mean, I don't think he looks anything like Indiana
No,
Jones,
he doesn't.
unfortunately for him. But if you wanted to make a new Indiana Jones film, you'd get him to just dub it over. You'd find somebody that looks like Harrison Ford and then get him to dub it, because he is so close. It is scary how close he's got that voice.
And he's a mainstay in gaming voice acting now,
Mm.
is Troy Baker. I follow him on Instagram. He genuinely seems like a lovely guy, and I know anyone can say that about someone's Instagram. Everyone seems like a lovely person on Instagram or social media, but every interview I've seen with him, he's so humble about it. There was an interview between him and Harrison Ford with someone, because they brought Harrison Ford along to
Mm.
sort of review how he felt about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and particularly Troy's performance. And Harrison himself was flattered by the performance and said it was faultless. And I think the guy does deserve some credit
Yeah,
for all the
definitely.
the history of voice acting that he has done, not only in gaming but in cinema, in animation, and things like that. I think he deserves a win, and he's my personal favorite out of that category.
I just hope the fact that it came out early in the year doesn't play against him, and the fact that he's nominated is enough to make people recognise that yes, he deserves to be there. He deserves to potentially win this, because yeah, as good as the others are, and I'm sure they're amazing, I feel like they're all voicing new characters. They
Yeah.
could put any voice and any spin they want on that. To be able to mimic someone the way he has, and have the back catalogue that he does to prove that he's not just an impersonator, he can do a whole gambit. I just think he deserves it. Like you say, it's almost like you'd want to give it him as like a lifetime achievement
Oh
award as
yeah.
much as an award for this.
Absolutely. And to your point, it's not like he's doing a pastiche or a bit. It's not like, oh, here's my Harrison Ford impersonation, like you see with comedians
Hmm.
when they go on to talk shows and stuff like that. Like, oh, do the voice, do the voice, do the voice, and they do that one impression
Yeah.
that they are known for. And whereas this guy has just got the acting in it's great, and every single part he does, he puts his heart into, and everything he's done as a voice actor, I think comes highly recommended, really.
Right, last category.
So last category is game of the year. There will be some repetition in this one, so I will skip over those relatively quickly. So you've got Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, and then the final two that are a little bit out there are Donkey Kong Bonanza
No.
and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Right, well, no for Donkey Kong Bonanza, because it's all right. It's just okay. It's not,
Yeah.
when there's nothing else to play, it's fine. But it's not a blow. It's not Mario Odyssey, and it's 5, 6, 7, 8 years after Mario Odyssey. This is the issue with it. If this had come out when Mario Odyssey came out, yes, I'd have been absolutely blown away with it. But it's just not. It's too. It's too focused on a gimmick for me. I think is the problem with it. Mario Odyssey had a gimmick with Cappy, but there was plenty of other stuff in there. This is all about smashing the environment, wearing different costumes and furs to do different things, and there's not enough substance other than that. It's too hyper focused on that for me. So I'd rule that one out. I feel like they've just put it in there because it's the only decent thing Nintendo have put out for a year,
Yeah.
and they feel like they need to represent them. Because Mario Kart wasn't ever going to get in there because it's too much like the old ones. They didn't do enough. Pokemon ZA probably came too late and doesn't really deserve to be there
No, it
anyway, as
doesn't.
much as it's not too bad. So I feel like this is them throwing Nintendo a bone and saying, here you go, you have got representation in there, even though it's probably not going to win.
Yeah.
The last game I've never heard of.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah, never heard of that. I don't know what kind of game that even is.
It's very realistic medieval simulator where it's first person, and you get limited saves. If you turn up covered in mud, which, let's face it, it's medieval Europe, the only things that aren't covered in mud are the clouds, and that's because we've not built a trebuchet big enough. But yeah, it's if you turn up covered in mud, conversation options get blacked out because you can't be charming while you're covered in shit. Blood, however, if you turn up coated in like 12 pints of your your mate's blood. They're fine. They carry on talking to you. But it's very realistic. It gets praised for how realistic it is. It's a bit Skyrim-esque, but there's no fantasy element to it. You are just a medieval peasant boy who wields a sword, and yeah, it's very intense.
That feels too niche to be Game of the Year for me. I feel like that, again, is... We've put something out there in for you to make sure it's not just the same names coming up over and over again. I'd love Hades to win it, but it's not going to do. Let's face it. It's a brilliant game, but it's not a game, I think, is the problem. I don't think a roguelike or a roguelite is ever going to win Game of the Year, because the Game of the Year category, for right or wrong, is a well-crafted, proper game.
End-to-end experience, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think, and not to take up too much more time, because I think my tea is probably ready by this point. We've been going a bit longer than we thought we were going to do. I think Expedition's going to win it.
Yeah, so do I.
Would be my prediction. Death Stranding, I didn't like the first one. I can't imagine I'm going to like the second one. I think it's too polarizing to get a Game of the Year. And what was the other one that was in there?
Hollow Knight Silksong, which again falls into the category of Hades, where it's not a game, really.
It's too indie to be Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I feel like Game of the Year, they're always going to give it to a triple, quadruple A, big budget studio game. So yeah, I think it's got to be Expedition, hasn't it? Maybe we'll be surprised when we hear you'll hear in 10 minutes' time, we go through the winners. Maybe we will be surprised. But for this portion, I think we need to end it there. But yeah, I think we've picked pretty well there. I think the only category is the co-op one, but it could go either way on that one.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think, we're there or thereabouts. But we will be back straight away for you guys. Another nearly a month for us before we can look at the results. But hopefully you enjoyed our little gift guide portion. We'll be back very shortly to discuss the winners, to give one final shout out of the year to our patrons, to talk about what we've got coming up next year in 2026. We will be doing an award show of our own to set right the wrongs that potentially are going to appear in the next 10 minutes or so. But until then, I will say goodbye for now from this time period.
And goodbye for now from me.
And enjoy the results of the Game Awards, or don't, as the case may be. Hello, except no, that isn't what's going to happen. We thought that was what was going to happen, and then we've just recorded the second part, and it is over an hour long also. So we don't think we're going to be able to get all that edited in time for the gift guide bit that you've just listened to be relevant anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the results of the Video Game Awards and our thoughts on them out as a second episode, which may or may not be before Christmas, depending on how quickly we get it edited. But it will be there. It will be there at some point. So we did have a good chat, though, didn't we, about the winners? It lasted an hour, so we must have had something to say about it. So.
Very true.
But yeah, that will be out soon. I can't guarantee when. I will try and get it out before Christmas. But if not, something for you to look forward to in the new year. And when you do listen to it, disregard all the bit at the end about Merry Christmas and hope you have a new year, because it'll be well out of date. So I will do that now. Merry Christmas. We hope you're had a great Christmas when you're listening to this. Happy New Year. We wish you all the best for the new year. Thank you so much for supporting us. Our Patreons, the shout out is at the end of the next episode. I'm not going to do it all again, but just know that we really appreciate you. If you want to join our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/bucketlistgamers. You can support us on there. We've got bonus content due to go out on there very soon. Blueprint episodes that we've recorded where we answer your questions, all that kind of stuff. So yes, until the next episode, which should have been tacked onto this episode until it went for over an hour, thank you for listening, and that is goodbye from me.
And that's goodbye from me.
¡Ho, ho, 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 ho! ¡Feliz Navidad!